Hi, I'm Dr. Satish Kumar, and in today's Kaizen Dental Success Stories, we are going to interview Dr. Bhavdeep Singh Ahuja. Dr. Bhavdeep Singh Ahuja graduated in 1998 from the Punjabi University. He specialized in implants in 2004-5. Apart from dentistry, he holds a triple MBA that includes hospital management, finance, human resources, and marketing. He also has around 12 postgraduate diplomas in various topics, which include clinical research, medical law and ethics, and cyber law. He has also authored 5 books on different topics of practice management, published by Lambert Academy Publishing. He lectures across India on various topics which include practice management, medical law, and finance for dentists. He has a successful YouTube channel as well by the name Dr. Bhavdeep Ahuja.
Yes.
So, we'll start.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir. Thank you for giving us your valuable time.
Thank you.
You're one of the few people I look up to because you are consistently updating yourself, and not just yourself, you're sharing that knowledge with others. So, really, thank you for being on our platform.
Pleasure is all mine.
So, sir, our first question is for example, my case, I came to know about the financial part of clinics quite late. Initially, I was just worried about how will I get a patient, how will the clinic run, my clinical work, and everything. How did you realize and how did your journey begin about understanding the financial aspects and teaching all of us?
Okay. So, when it comes to finance as a subject, otherwise not pertaining to dentistry, finance it is actually running in my blood. My father was a retired banker. He passed away in June 19. So
Okay.
he actually used to teach students from plus one commerce to CAs, even CA part two, part one, CIAB part one, part two, even the most complex of the things. So at one point of time, pre 2005 era, almost 50% of CAs of Punjab and even some in India
Oh,
were my dad's students.
okay.
So all those 15 years down the line are big hotshots now. So my in my childhood also my tuition my own room used to be alongside my dad's tuition room. So he was a very hardworking guy. He actually used to start his classes at 4 o'clock in the morning till work till 8
Wow.
or teach till 8, and then get ready and go to the bank and come at 5:30, and again the 5:45 the classes would start till late, till almost 10:30 11. So मेरा room साथ में था. I used to get everything of asset, liability, credit and debit in all my life, and as similar way, because of my dad, my because of it running in my blood, I was very excited to commerce in plus one because numbers came naturally to me. I was interested in them since the beginning of my career, of my life rather. So dad said no. मेरे दोनों बच्चे डॉक्टर बनेंगे. So in those days, I'm talking of the early 90s.
I
People
understood.
like me,
Doctor
or
या engineer.
children like me, yeah, children like me didn't have a choice. So we had to accede to. I asked just dad once, dad, फायदा नहीं है कोई, मैं क्लियर नहीं कर पाऊंगा, मेडिकल मेरा नहीं एप्टीट्यूड है. नो प्रॉब्लम. प्लस वन प्लस टू की कॉमर्स आई विल टीच यू इन 3 months. You can join BCom after that. If you don't clear your PMT, I won't let you drop your year. There was no other option. Then I tried another bargain. There was usually in our times in plus one we had physics, chemistry, and biology, and the
Yes.
option subject used to be anyone. Usually people picked up physical education. Dad said, I said, Dad, I'll pick up maths. So let me just pick up fourth as maths and fifth as biology. I tried a non-medical kind of a thing because again, my own bent of mind was mechanical sort of, is also since the beginning. So because of those things, so dad said, maths karna hai. He actually tore up my form, the
Oh,
admission form for plus one. Said maths karna hai, तो you fill it at fifth number. That would mean the biology is not optional. The biology is compulsory, and maths
compulsory.
become
Math
optional.
is optional.
So even commerce ke baad I tried non-medical. The form was torn up, but then I had to go in for medical. Unluckily or luckily, my entrance test was cleared and I'm into this profession. So he said, I have no regret.
It,
So then,
it's good for us dentists that you became a dentist
yes,
to train
fortunately,
us.
fortunately for you all. Yes. But then slowly and slowly, when I got up into practice, I started as early as 1st Jan 2000. So after graduating in 1998. So I started my clinic. Dad used to manage my finances a bit. Yes, charging part, I started my own in the initial phase. Never let dad get into that part because he, being from the service class, didn't have much idea about it as well. So he said, that profit kaise kamana? I used to learn little things from him. But then a little change came in my life in 2003. I had an accident. There was a back injury. And at one point of time, the doctors, two of my orthopedic colleagues, senior colleagues, advised me a change of profession. So
Oh,
that is when me and my dad and all the family members sat together and decided what to do if I have to leave dentistry, then what to do. Dad said, कुछ ना कुछ तो create करना पड़ेगा. So that is where I ventured into or started thinking about MBA thing. So
okay.
I started with the MBAs. Then those distance learning education in the form of around 11, 12 PG diplomas and MBAs happened. All the continuing education started from 2005 onwards. And
Okay.
when I finished my MBA in HR from IGNOU, so there was an option of doing a dual specialty in that. So I asked dad, अब मैंने कर लिया, मेरे को 6 महीने और या साल एक लगेगा. Should I do a specialty in finance? I said, why not? You should do it. And trust me, he was one of the most important persons in me studying as late as till 2017. My last qualification finished in 2017. The kind of CV you see in all my presentations, that is most of that is attributed to him only, because he never ever allowed me कि नहीं ढीले नहीं पढ़ना, पढ़ना है, पढ़ते रहो, no problem. Even he did his post graduation various things after his marriage only, to my mom, of course. So then when MBA finance happened to me in 2009, I completed it. That is where actually the interest started happening, because I had done my MBA in marketing also. I've done in my at that time MBA in hospital management also from IIM Pune. So those three MBAs and four qualifications actually started ringing something, and I didn't know something was missing over there. The missing link was provided by the postgraduate diploma in medical law and ethics from National Law School, Bangalore. And once that jigsaw of the puzzle was tight into the socket of my brain, there the chain reaction happened. That yes, we all have a zeal to earn more money, but then we cross, in a zeal to do that, we cross on the wrong side of the law. That is where the role of medical law and ethics comes in. And once you have done the rightful process, you have earned the money in a rightful way. And then if you don't earn from your own money, that whole money goes waste. That is where the role of my dad came in. People look to get trained from lawyers, or sorry, from CAs, from financial advisors. I had my own 24/7, 365. And trust me, what he taught to me, it can't be taught by anyone in this world to me, because he was the guru of the gurus. So there was no
Understood.
way. So unfortunately, 2 years down the line, I feel his loss. So maths or finance as a subject since birth in my blood, but as a career and profession, a little change after 2009, but properly after 2012, surely.
Okay.
When these things started happening, and when I started taking lectures on finance since 2012. Otherwise, I started lecturing in 2007 itself. But then these things properly started with finance in mind in 2012. And from there on, there was no looking back.
So now you have been training people since last 9 years.
Yep.
So my point is, when you meet young dentists, now you know our channel is focused towards young dentists.
Surely.
What are the common problems they come to you with?
See, these days I encounter people with a lot of problems. So many young dentists. There are so many in my WhatsApp groups as well. Common problem, they say, sir, BDS has no value. BDS has no scope. I said, what do you want to do? We want to do a specialization. The otherwise there will be a costly thing, but otherwise it won't have a value. But if you go in for a MDS or a PG, it is a very costly thing. You have to either do it with a loan, or parents can't support it, or then some of the people who have done their PG with their own merit from GDC, or maybe from with the help of parents as well in the financial sector. Then their problem is setting up. I want to now set up a big clinic. Again, the problem is a loan. A novice or a person with a zero credit history, zero assets, zero collateral will not get a big loan. So now that is again one of the problems. So another problem they face is once they have everything settled up, they open up, then they have no patients. So and once or even if they have patients, then the next problem they have is marketing. They some of them rely on word of mouth, but yes, some are extravagant, some overdo the marketing thing also. So there are a lot of problems pertaining to various sectors at various stage what you're in. Obviously it stems from what your financial background is, how your parents are well off, or how your support can be managed better by them.
So
So
all these are difficulties, or some of them are mistakes made by them?
no, these are not actually difficult mistakes because sometimes you can't choose your parents, of course. What you
No, no,
get,
not just the parents part, the
yes, no,
rest.
even your financial situation. Sometimes what you even my dad, in spite of working so hard, he was the only one who was supporting the joint family. So I didn't have a very rich childhood. Not that I had a very poor one either, but it was a decent enough. All our needs were fulfilled, surely. Not all demands were, but then no
Deserves.
regrets about that. But again, these situations may not be very common to everyone. So mistakes are separately. Mistakes pertain to a lot of things that done wrongly in practice. And practice mistake, the number one mistake starts from the charging part only, the pricing and the charging. If we talk of the practice mistakes, other than the marketing and opening up and loans part, if we ignore that for a moment, which I already told, the practice part starts. People still have this notion that if we start say with a low price, and as and when though the old theory of hatti chatti and vatti that is famous in Punjab, that धीरे धीरे patient
Sab
बढ़ते जाएंगे,
badega,
हम
sab
पैसे
badega.
बढ़ाते
Everything will
जाएंगे,
increase.
and that never happens actually. We are actually caught in that. But if we have to talk about the financial mistakes, not only for the starter ones, but even the middle road ones. For categorization, I mentioned the starters as 0 to 3, and the middle
Okay.
road ones are anything between 3 to 10 years of practice. After 10, I
Okay.
consider settled. Yes, exceptions can be there. People can get settled in second year, and people are not settled even after 15 years. So exceptions are there always. But the starter 0 to 3 and middle road 3 to 10. So what happens actually is what I believe that nobody teaches us, or at least I was lucky, but nobody teaches us, the dentist, the art of saving the income. We actually like to
Understood.
splurge first, spend first, and then if something is left, we try to
Will invest.
save or invest. The first thing is save, then only you will invest. वो कहते कुछ बचता नहीं है सर, तो कहाँ से इन्वेस्ट करेंगे? That is the problem they have. Then they have that social media phenomenon, FOMO approach, fear of missing out. नहीं, वो उसने गाड़ी लिया, उसने बंगला लिया, मैं भी लूंगा. And then they start running that rat race again. That again, people who support this FOMO, they'll always says YOLO. You only live once.
Once.
So there is only one life. You can't actually go about that task. So then there are many other mistakes like a weekend culture of throwing a bomb on weekend parties, having no track of your cash flow, no emergency budget. We all saw in lockdown last year, people were itching to get back to their clinics even after the first 3 weeks when they got over. Then there is no medical plan, medical insurance, or there is no term insurance. There is no actual financial plan, and then procrastination steps in everywhere. We want to start, but वो कल कभी नहीं आता है. Then there is lack. जब सीखना है कि जब अब डालना पैसा आ गया, then there is lack of patience कि 6 महीने में पैसा double हो जाए. That is not possible. Then the basic human virtue, greed, takes over. But only thing, all that boils down to one thing: we all are a victim of lifestyle inflation. We want to copy others, and that is where we want to earn more and splurge more without thinking that there will be something called as an old age. And always I always say to FOMO and YOLO guys, there will be a YAGO also, YAGO. You also grow old, and SANK, sank also. Senile age is never kind. So it is very say, I will say, a poor thing to ask for money from your kids. And most of us, even those who are working in colleges, will not have any pension. So we need to think about our future, our retirement. People would say live in present, fine. but one foot has to be in the past and one foot has to be in future, or at least the vision has to be in future. So that is the thing people actually mistake when they try to copy or others or their own say victim of their own lifestyle inflation. Yeah.
Understood. So you were telling one point about people not having money for MDS and everything. So now there are many students who think specialty is compulsory. Otherwise, I won't be successful. So what considerations they should think financially before they decide whether to take MDS or not? What do you think?
So, see, whether to take up MDS or not, this is a question which I would like to answer in a different way. What I feel that it is not necessary to have a MDS, but it is necessary to have a specialization, which can be through any means. Number one. Number two, the only thing we require is to set up a differentiator, that we are separated from the rest of the crowd, which are there are so many people. If they are in our area, we have to separate it from them. But then if you want to pick up MDS or not, what are the financial considerations you have to think of? The number one thing that I already mentioned, financial condition of the parents has to be taken into account. Then what area you belong to, which area or further you want to open up your practice, how you plan to scale up slowly. And then what are your own liabilities in your own family, your brothers, sisters, or your dependents upon you if you're the eldest one, or any other similar. Or if you're married also, some people think about MDS even after marriage. So nothing wrong in that, but then you have to think of your liabilities first. Then all of us have a zeal to grow and learn more. These are the normal considerations. But then if you come to the financial consideration for MDS part, I would first ask them, what is your source of money for education? Let's presume your parents are giving you the loan, or you are actually getting it from them. The one question is how soon you can get that monkey off your back, because once you get that loan monkey for your PG off your back, another monkey would step up to open up your clinic. So it is a continuous exercise. But yes, if you start with huge liabilities already, you will never be able to say get over those liabilities if you keep on piling them as much as you can. Because
So
loan is
basically,
one
we should
thing.
not take a big loan for it.
Obviously, being a banker's son, I'm always dead against loan. Always dead
Okay.
against loan. But I understand in today's times, many things are need a loan, because people don't want to pay it from their own pocket, or don't want to burden their parents, or don't want to withdraw from their savings if they have any. So they would always think about such scenarios. So this is the reason they actually start to go for the loans. But then you have to remember, you have to draw a line. If you already have huge liabilities and you start with those, they can be really worrisome for many people. Yeah.
So now you told me about the second monkey, the clinic.
Yeah.
So what should be the considerations about clinic? Now, if I can't afford a MDS, now how much money should I have, or how do I go about understanding the finances before I set up my practice then?
Okay. So the only thing is, I always say that understand your area first, where you plan to open up, what kind of area you have, what kind of target group of population you have, what is it actually, it is the 9 to 5 population, business population, which kind of starter. These days we are lucky, we get all sorts of data from even the local counselors itself. So we can actually go
Can we
through
go
the
to the local
data.
council and get it?
Yes, everybody has those data about the area population, what is the
Okay.
occupation. They have all those sort of things are there with everyone. The councils don't want to give it or not, that is a different story altogether. uh, that is then always take a feedback from the local shopkeepers. Say what kind of dentists are already there, what kind of work they are already actually doing in their practice. So these situations, a few others, they play a role. At this point of time, I will actually narrate you a very, very short story
Yes,
regarding
yes.
a personal experience that I encountered in uh, in my in my practical life. I was fond of going to a restaurant which opened in a nearby vicinity, and I actually published a story on this also. It is
Okay.
a close by area to me, roughly 2 to 3 kilometers from my clinic or my residence. My clinic and residence are in the same place. So there
Okay.
was a project. If I'm not wrong, this government 2022. 17, 12. It is a story of 2005 or 6 only. At that point of time, there was a big city center supposed to be coming back in that area. So the Congress government was in power at that time, and that city center was supposed to have many mega ventures like a multi-dimensional mall, shopping area, a big government secretariat, including the CM's helipad as well. So those were there, and vast amount of land was required. Area was dug up as good as 20 to 30 feet below the road level. The boundaries were marked, the total area was, and the construction was started. And trust me, so many people actually bought land in that area, considering कि अब ये यहाँ पे land prices are going to shoot up. And those prices, what happened after 1 year, elections happened in 2007. And as luck would have it, the Congress government went out of power. And the Akali BJP, we have only two options, the Akali BJP combo or the Congress government in Punjab. So the alternate government came into power, and that city center project was stalled, citing lack of funds. So whatever the real reason was, we'll never know.
Understood.
But then people actually still went on to hold on to those assets or shops. They thinking that yes, no problem, we will hold up 5 साल बाद फिर से government बदलेगी. But then even almost at the end of 4.5 years, there was a chance that the government would turn. And as luck would have it, Akali BJP government again came to power for the next 5 years. So it was almost 10 years. So those who had land, they actually sold that at meager prices. People in main markets also closed down. That area, instead of becoming overdeveloped, remained underdeveloped. So that is actually the crux of that area, which the story which I'm going to tell you. So there is a bank in that middle of the market, Bank of Maharashtra. My first investment started with them in 2006 or 7. So she was the bank manager was my patient. So वो बैंक में यहीं पे आई, यहीं से पैसे लिए और यहीं पे फॉर्म भर के FD कर दी. In those time, FD was very lucrative at 12 to 13%. So she said, आप कभी आइए बैंक, हम भी करेंगे. वहाँ पे एक नया रेस्टोरेंट भी खुला है. Okay, ma'am, I'll come, I'll try. We actually go once a week out for dinner. So there was a restaurant that opened up in that area. And that bank patient actually she garnered lavish praises on the restaurant. कि आप आइए उसको check कीजिए. Area जरूर underdeveloped है, but the restaurant is a good one. So I went there with my family, and I really found a good rush. But we still got a little cozy corner to sit for 3 of us. We were 3 at that time. My second daughter was not born then. So there were 3 young guys, 25, 26 years of age. They were manning that service area, reception area, pantry area, even the waiting area, of course, with the help of waiters, of course. But then once we had our dinner, so one of those young boys came to me and asked me, please give us a review for that, or without any paper or form, he just wanted a verbal review. So I'm a vegetarian, my wife and kids are non-vegetarian. We had both kinds of food. So we had obviously good things to say about, because the food had been genuinely good. So I actually curiously asked them, ये market भी jinxed है, ये restaurant भी, मतलब ये total this whole setup city center के कारण, it is a jinxed place. What made you open up the restaurant in such a jinxed area? People actually will not even think of doing so, and it is an undeveloped market area as well. So what exactly is there? So then he's just started narrating me the interesting part. This is the very interesting part of the story. Just before that, I was building up the base for that. So these 3 guys, they said we are chuddy buddies, and we are there since childhood, and we were extremely foodies since the age of 18, 19. Now, as I told, they were around 25, 26. So I said we actually were bored of eating outside, so we planned to open up a restaurant. I said, are you sure? आप बोर हो गए तो आप अपना रेस्टोरेंट खोलने लग पड़े. Something not digestible. But I didn't ask them. This was a question I made to myself. So he said, iske father ka, although 3 of them he mentioned, one of us has a paternal business as a dairy, the milk business. The another one has a chicken business, a poultry farm, and the third one had a grocery store. So he said ki it doesn't seem to us as an outside business, as the family is already involved in one of the business, one or the other kind of business. So, and these 3 are interlinked. So they said we knew that the odds are stacked against us, because we have no culinary experience, no hospitality, no formal qualification in that. and even not even remotely related to cooking in any sense. So, and also the area was underdeveloped, the place was jinxed, and the last of all, which is a lesson, they had very limited investments. So I asked them, what was your actually strategy? I believe those novices actually built up a actually perfect strategy kind of a thing. So they said we surveyed out the area, as I just mentioned, looking out for the taste of people. So they used free gifts worth rupees 50, like a homemade cake or some grocery item procured from their own shops. And they used that to get the survey results. कि आप ये survey को answer करेंगे तो आपको एक gift मिलेगा, kind of those things and that area. So they said we actually get the survey result that what kind of food people loved in our area. And then because the supplies were initially from the family, so initially unko they didn't have much of the expenses, and then they used trustworthy delivery boys. They had their close associates with them to get the feedback about the food choice. But then initially the feedback was only to those where they were actually making the regular supplies through their father's businesses. जहाँ पे चिकन डेली जाता है, यहाँ पे दूध डेली जाता है, तो दे यूज टू मेक थ्रू दैट ओनली. So वेज नॉन वेज चाहिए, किस प्राइस पे होना चाहिए, all those sort of things they actually gave asked for it. And then as they further went on analyzing, it actually gave them a food business insight, as he said to me. They said कि हमने फिर ये अच्छा वहां पे जहाँ पे रेस्टोरेंट खुला था उस पे पहले भी एक ऑलरेडी रेस्टोरेंट था, बिकॉज द बैंक मैनेजर न्यू अबाउट इट दैट आई वाज देयर. सेड वहां पे खुला था, वो बंद हो गया, अब एक नया खुला है. सो दैट इज द रीजन आई वेंट देयर. सो सेड कि हम लोग गए कि यहाँ पे डेकोर ऑलरेडी हुआ था, we didn't have to spend money on interior, so we asked the owner to actually give us half the portion of the original restaurant जो बंद हो गया था रेस्टोरेंट. इट वाज अ बिग एरिया. सो हम हाफ एरिया अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं ऑन रेंट, सो गिव अस हाफ द एरिया. सो then the owner had no choice because वो प्रॉपर्टी बिकती नहीं थी, वैसे डेड पड़ी है मार्केट, तो he felt like कि अगर हाफ भी आ रहा है, it is good enough. So he agreed. It is like a win-win situation for everyone. So the decor was done, so they didn't have to spend much time on that. So उनका एक known source था, they arranged chefs from that, and then own foodie skills to the fore in that matter. So they said जो भी little bit decoration है वो हमने खुद किया using our female friends they had in their college. And then every evening they said they used to come to restaurant and ask the chef to try them different things. Until next day, 24 hours, they deliberated on the taste and the deficiencies in the same. Because they were foodies, so they continued doing that. And whatever dish was final, the recipe was coded and noted in that. And they continued this process for 1 month. So the families were surprised कि कर क्या रहे हैं, जाते हैं खा के आ जाते हैं. They are not still opening up the restaurant. What are they actually doing? So but they had actually in the meantime started building the perception in the area through the leaflets, like, and even the local signboards, which were not very say costly. The cost effective options or non-fleshy ones, like opening soon, come and try for free, similar to what Amir Khan does to his movie 6 months before the release. He organizes the test preview screenings for this film and then makes the changes accordingly. He is the only one known in the film industry to do so. And then they actually styled the name of their restaurant as a dhaba, because again their perception was, the general perception of the audience in my town is that dhabas are comparatively cheaper than restaurants. So this is a way of strategic positioning only in that ways. So then they actually advertise the timings. The timings was the one which might interest you the most. The timings was 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. And I was like, really? Who orders you at 2 a.m.? Said होते हैं, because my town is actually a Junkistan, courtesy Zomato and Swiggy, and even at that time Uber Eats was there. So there is a night factory also, which also started some time before, that delivers food from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning. And people who work from home, and this is the thing I'm talking before COVID, people still work from home and they used to actually do this thing. So this is like a thing that what I would say, that a couple of novices actually manufactured their business from almost nothing to a good show, and they're still running the restaurant. So what I will give as a say takeaway, or the bullet markers to success to people who actually can the youngsters
Starting a
especially.
practice.
Yes, youngsters starting up your practice. I can give you a few bullet markers in that. The number one would be that survey and get a feedback of your area, as I always said. Then
Many
get
don't do that.
Yes, many don't do that. Get to know the pocket of your potential clients. What kind of people are there in your area? Are they service class? Are they business class? Are they mostly females? Or what kind of people? Then know what you are going to dish out. Everybody would be doing restorations or scalings or crowns. What is your differentiator? What do you want to promote? Since they promoted 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. or whatever they're to come and try for free, like a thing. Not obviously we can't do those things for try for free, but just to give you an idea, we can always manufacture certain things out of the box. Then always take a pre-feedback before the treatment. Mark out your X factor, always the differentiator, which will differentiate yourself from the crowd. And then in this case, they gave a good taste coupled with a brilliant service. We do a good job coupled with a brilliant service, of course. So then always you have to bank on your skills and confidence, trust your own abilities, do your SWOT analysis as these guys did, play smart, and lastly, never lose hope. So these are the few things I will always want everyone to actually carry home. The problem is we indulge in so much of marketing, external thing, we forget once the patient enters our clinic door, the external marketing ceases to act there and then. That is where your service protocols, your treatment protocols, and your internal marketing takes over. Once your internal marketing is, say, good enough, the patient will have a repeat visit to you. But if the patient is not happy with your thing, you will lose the money spent per head on that portion for external marketing as well, since that portion patient is never going to come back to you again. So all the two facets of marketing, external and internal are more important, more so the internal part.
So you were against taking loan for FOMO, okay?
For a
Uh,
heavy
yes,
dose.
but then
Yep.
if I am thinking of putting a clinic, a young dentist,
Yeah.
and does not have financial part to his backing, he's confident about his clinical skills, he's understood how to manage his patients, he's done his survey. What type of loan should he take? Should he take a loan or not? What is your opinion on it?
See, I'll give you three options. Number one is don't take a loan. Number two, take a loan from your parents at 0% interest. Number three, if you still have to take a loan, that loan should never cross 30 to 40% of your gross income or what you're
Okay.
aiming at. And the EMI should never be above that. So always aim for something in that regard. Because if your EMI is going to be higher, you're actually either you're going to overcharge in the beginning or set a charge without the people knowing about your service, and then that can be a double-edged sword, which can actually cut you badly. So I would always advise take a loan from your parents. Yes, if you don't want to put them into any kind of financial lurch, so you can take that from them at 0% interest. I did that myself. My dad never allowed me to take a loan. He said, "मेरे से ले, जितना होगा मेरे को वापस दे देना." No interest. So that is the best form of interest. But then if it is unavoidable, then the best option is it should not be crossing 30 to 40% of your EMI. If it is doing that, then you have to make sure that you go about those things. Now coming to what kind of loan. Personal loans will give you, personal loans are available but they have a high rate of interest. Then other sorts of loans are available like doctor's loan. They are also kind of a personal loan in the garb of that. Certain kinds of equipment or MSME loans are available, which might be at a lesser cost. But then for those, you need certain specifications, certain requirements. I recently took up a detailed series on loan. So I'll be mentioning about the link in the end. You should
Sure, sir.
watch the series. It is an eye opener. In that, I have detailed about all kinds of loans separately. So that series is available on my YouTube channel. So I'll be sharing the link with all of you.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm enjoying the conversation. I just wanted to know, can we extend it beyond the
Ab-
time allotted and a discussion on practice management?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a pleasure talking to you, Satish. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Dr. Satish Kumar, and this is our second session with Dr. Bhavdeep Singh Ahuja in Kaizen Dental Success Stories podcast. In our last session, we spoke to him more about the financial aspect for a young dentist. In today's session, we will be discussing more questions related to the practice management aspect as to setting up a new practice. Okay, sir. So let's move to practice management, because I know one of your specialities other than finance and medical legal is practice management. Okay. So we have a lot of young dentists who are planning to start their practices. So you have already told about the finances and the practice part. You had told me in the start about charges. So I want you to, if you can speak a little more about it. Like, how do I go about finalizing my charges? It should not be excess, it should not be less. So how do I go about it?
See, the only thing is the first thing before any say one section which comes before that is that once you go down to charges, when you open up your clinic, you should be ready in yourself in 10 aspects, not only the financial aspects. There are 9 other aspects along with the financial aspects. I'd like to brief a little bit on that if you allow me,
Sure.
please.
100% we
So
want to hear.
yes, because youngsters who are actually in a urge to open up the clinic, I always say, always open up the clinic when you are ready for yourself for that in 10 aspects. The number one aspect I would always stress upon is the mental strength. Whether you are mature enough to handle a tough situation and don't panic in case of an eventuality. Because mental strength is kind of a capacity of an individual which allows us to deal with all kinds of pressures and challenges. And it does take time and practice to become physically and mentally strong, but then building your mental strength is great thing. And if you are mentally strong, then only jump into this thing. Then of course we discussed about the financial aspect. The
Yes.
financial aspect would say that if you have the ability to bear the loss or even just break even for an
Break even.
initial few months, if you're ready for that aspect, and that should not, again, mental aspect should be strong and you shouldn't be that ways. So that would mean you're financially stable, you have some background, you have your parents supporting you, or you have your savings also to care for that, even if you don't have a steady flow of income in the beginning. So that should not deter you. So some money should be there, and financial stability is not only about being rich, it is more of a mindset, so that you don't stress about yourself about money ki yaar paise to aa nahi rahe hain. So because your focus and energy is needed to on other aspects of the practice in the beginning. So the third aspect, as I mentioned in the opening part also, social aspect. A few people should know in your area, so that it is a ground for referrals in your clinic in that time. Because if you
So
are like
networking is
a,
important.
yeah, absolutely, networking is surely important. If you are like a awkward person or an introvert at a social events of your area, you will actually struggle to get into conversations. You will say, I'm a shy personality, I'm an introvert, I won't get into those things. But then these can impact your social life. So always have the courage and decision to talk to new people and get into those conversations. Then the fourth aspect I always test upon is you psychologically you should be ready, because nil patients initially should not dent your confidence. Some people actually they bounce back quickly from their personal failures or setbacks, but then others find it difficult to do that much. So as they say, na, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade from
Make
that.
lemonade.
From that, then the fifth aspect is always jump into practice when you are absolutely ready in skill wise manner. You should be able to say handle all the tasks astutely. All your
So,
hard work
but
should be,
there's one this to it. Some
yeah.
say even if you're not ready, you should. If you don't start, how will you know you're ready or not?
The only thing is that इसके लिए वो if I remember the famous Canadian author Malcolm Gladwell, he
Hmm.
actually popularized that theory that approximately 10,000 hours of deliberate practice can turn into an expert, but 10,000 is just an average. So if you remember the 2009 Chandni Chowk to China Akshay Kumar movie, मुझे तुम्हारी उन 10 उस एक मूव से कोई खतरा नहीं है जिसकी तुमने प्रैक्टिस, सॉरी, मुझे तुम्हारी उन 10,000 मूव से कोई
Yes.
खतरा नहीं है जिसकी प्रैक्टिस तुमने एक बार
Right.
की है, पर मुझे तुम्हारी इस एक मूव से बहुत खतरा है जिसकी प्रैक्टिस तुमने 10,000 बार की. Just to explain, obviously 10,000 hours is a lot and you can't do that pre-practice, but just to give you an idea that you should be actually having a flow of the work. You should be knowing the sequence of the work, how to handle it. Uh, that is the fifth aspect, skill wise. So the sixth aspect for me is contact wise, you should be rich. Again, a part of networking only, but here you should have a good circle of dentist friends if who can
Okay.
call you for referral. If you
So that
are,
was non-dental. This is dental.
yeah, where you can actually network in dentistry wise, that if you are specializing in anything special, where there your colleagues can actually refer you over there. The only thing is that you should be on the top of your game, that people can just reach you anywhere, anytime in that regard, and you should be able to offer your services. Then one of the most important aspects is the balance. I always say there is everything would demand complete, especially a new clinic, that will demand your completely undivided attention. There should be no half measures to it. You can't actually really say, "Okay, family is family. Family time should rarely be encroached upon." But then we need to understand that clinic is like a, say, service which we can't just run away from. We see that वो मेले में लगता है ना, वो डंडा एक रस्सी लगा के डंडा पकड़ के वो चलते होते हैं,
Yes.
और उस सिर के ऊपर भी बच्चा बिठाया तो उसके ऊपर मटका रखा होता है, all those things. So what are they doing actually? They are maintaining the balance. Yeah,
Balance.
they're not just maintaining the balance, they're just walking as well. So similarly, we need to understand that life will demand a balance, and it is not only about work. We need to actually concentrate on our growth also for future, having a vision in mind, and keep the balance in various elements of our lives.
So there's one
Then
question I want to ask in this.
yes,
You told me about focus, but a lot of young dentists are worried that they won't make enough money in dentistry. So when they start only, they think ki backup option. Should I do clinical and non-clinical simultaneously? Second source of income. They don't focus on the first, and they're already thinking about the second. What would you tell?
that is what I am saying. It is a thing which will demand your undivided attention. That is the point I mentioned in balance. A new clinic, any kind of new profession would demand absolutely full measures. No half measures are allowed in that. When you are in Rome,
So
think
this
as
young
the
dentists
Romans.
need to remember this.
Surely, when you are in Rome, think as the Romans do. So when you are a clinic, think as the clinicians do. Don't worry about any other parts. Yes, you may think of growth and expansion, have a vision for that. But remember, ultimately, what you need to realize is that one line that I usually mention, that no one can see, feel, think, breathe, experience, love, or die for you. It is only you who has to balance all the aspects of your life. And that is most important. So, and this was the seventh aspect. So the eighth aspect for me is again, extension of what you already asked, dedication and devotion. So yes, our free time can be used to update ourselves in all spheres, but I always mention opening clinic is like a atonement or a tapasya kind of a thing. जितना आप गुड़ डालेंगे उतना ही मीठा निकलेगा. And there are so many aspects for dedicated people, like commitment, belief, passion, your self-discipline, your flexibility, planning. All those things actually can come handy when you are dedicated to your clinic. And ninth aspect, I always say, you should be having faith in God. So spirituality wise, it is very important that you are ready as well. And वो जो thought आता ना मन में, what if अगर ये हो गया तो, अगर वो हो गया तो, अरे बॉस, भगवान ने हम सबको दुनिया में भेजा तो खिलाना भी उसका काम है हमको. He has to feed all of us. We have just got to do our duty. We have just got to fulfill our dedication to our profession. आप अपनी ड्यूटी करिए, आपको अपने आप रिटर्न मिलेगा. Don't worry about his parts. He is worrying for everyone. So you should be ready for that aspect as well. And the 10th aspect, which I always mention, is that you should be ready emotions wise. जब कभी काम बहुत ज्यादा आ जाए तो बहुत भाग भाग मत हो जाओ. जब कम हो तो बिल्कुल मायूस मत हो जाओ. तो दोनों
I've
केसेस में
actually
you
seen
should
this
be.
with young dentists.
Yes, this happens
Both sides they
actually.
are stressed. A lot of patients
Both
be
sides.
stressed, less patients
Yes.
also stress.
बहुत सारे आ जाते तो बोलते इतने कैसे हैंडल करेंगे हम, काम कैसे करेंगे, जब काम आते काम तो है नहीं है. So the only thing is, I say one line when it comes to lab also, when it comes to more patients also. जब काम आए तो संभालना आना चाहिए. If you know the trick of the trade, you'll learn that. So अगर काम संभालना सीख जाओगे तो you'll become the champion of your trade. And there is no other way to summarize these 10 aspects in a better way that I actually do it for youngsters in that sense.
So we were talking in the start in the last episode about marketing and advertising. You told that we only focus on that, but
Yeah.
should be focused on, and how do you focus? What all you do in that aspect?
Yes, before that you asked me about the charges part. I
Yes,
told
sir,
you,
I
I
forgot.
actually took you to the 10 aspects. Sorry. So about the charges, again, my take would always be know your costs, know your numbers, know your patients. And my YouTube sessions these days are mentioning costing formulas as well, how to actually calculate charges. So you can set any benchmark and then calculate your profit margin from that. Suppose you are charging for example 4,000 for a PFM crown. Calculate your input cost from there, calculate your indirect cost from there. I've given the formulas in those sessions. So if you can calculate those, arrive at a profit margin, the gross profit margin and the net profit margin. So if your gross profit margin is bare minimum 60 and the net profit is between 40 and 50, that is still a decent, reasonable amount. But if both of them are below that, then you really need to make sure that either your costing is going high or your charges are too low. So this is a reverse way of calculating it. For example, to know that if whether the charges you have kept according to your setup. Remember, what formula I have given is a customized one. You can apply the same to your practice. For those who have missed these 5 sessions, I'll be doing a one combined session twice on 30th June on 2 different platforms. That is my dad's second death anniversary. So I'll be doing 2 webinars of 1.5 hours each on different platforms. One of them is on WDA, one of them is on WDF, World Dentist Federation and World Dental Association. So I'll be doing 2 webinars on that day. So you can catch hold of them.
Yes.
Again, those will be available on YouTube for a limited time only, because of the obvious reasons of the costing part. That
Understood.
the message that should be in our community only.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So
So the
my question
marketing
about
part, yes,
marketing.
marketing, yes. So what I believe is that if we go back to my times, 22 years, I started. This is my 22nd year of practice. So 22 years back, there was no such talk on marketing. The only marketing which existed was the WOM, word of mouth marketing. But
Okay.
yes, in today's times, marketing is an absolute must. We cannot skip it. If you believe that word of mouth is to be relied upon, I can warn you that word of mouth will take a good 2 to 5 years to take into action. Until that time, many of the new clinics would have opened up. You are an excellent dentist with a good skill set, but if the patients don't know about you only, how are you going to get the patients in through your door and show your skills? So to show your skills, people have to be in through the door and be treated by you. That is only the word can spread in a word of mouth way as well. So this is a dual way. But remember, as I mentioned before in this presentation also, that the external marketing, whatever you do, will cease to act once the patient is inside. There, the internal marketing will take over. So that is where your service standards and treatment protocols have to be just perfect, and there is no two way about it. So I give
in external marketing, what can they try? What all can be done?
See, initially for the beginners, the pamphlet marketing for visibility is a good one and almost non-invasive exercise in terms of money. Then there is a free listings available on JD and Google 360 as well. But as you slowly grow on in practice, 6 months, 9 months down the line, when you feel that it is picking up, I need more visibility, then you can go in for the paid marketing on via customized Facebook ads, or through your classified what kind of patients you want to target at and what kind of facilities you target at, because the customized ads will show only to those people who are interested and who are actually in availing your services or availing those services, and also those who are willing to pay for it as well, and according to their pay structure, whichever they have mentioned according to that. Remember, Facebook and these Google have lot of information. They have billions of dollars of information, and they are fined every year in Europe for breach of that. In India, the laws have now come into action for those breach of informations, but they are there since there, and they have a lot of data which they use to actually earn more money. That is the why when the government said we are changing our policy, you have to give us. Except Twitter, everyone just took 1 week to comply, because they know India is a big global market. Lot of population, there are side effects also, but a lot of population brings a lot of revenue as well for them. So yes, targeted marketing specifically from Facebook or AdWords or through Google, you can do that. But I advise that in the second phase, initial phase should be a cost-effective procedure as well for your visibility. And of course, add to that those 10 aspects I mentioned. Your local area networking with shopkeepers is a good thing. Or network with all the shopkeepers, go to them on many, especially when newly opened up. Take small gifts on any occasion, Holi, Diwali, whatever function, whatever festival comes in, gift them with your reminder, so that actually they make it a point to refer someone to you. Always thank them for this reason only. Small little tricks, but when all used in unison, can actually bring about big changes.
So now we have spoken about how to set the clinic. Now
Yep.
imagine the clinic is running for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months. There's some amount of income.
Mhm.
Where do we invest? Should we invest in our clinic? Should we invest on ourselves? Should we invest outside? How should we plan the investment in the initial phase when the income comes? Because many people skip on that.
The problem is that youngsters these days have a lot of loans or EMIs to be paid up initially. And once they pay the EMIs, they are left with income just about to meet their daily expenses. So the problem is in manifold. Their charges are sometimes too low. They are not getting enough patients. They are not getting enough patients to exercise their skills upon. They are not actually utilizing practice management from day one. So, as a rule, I would always say the first thing should be to clear off all your liabilities first, and loans comes number one in that. So, once you are aware, clear of those parts, clear of your loans, then your phase of growth starts. You have to say at least devote 10% of your gross income to your updating and upgrading or investing in yourself. It can be learning a new skill. It can, if you are new in practice, so you might not be initially needing a new gadget. I believe that unless it is a very necessary one. So I believe then updating yourself or investing in yourself, maybe in books, maybe in learning a new skill, maybe going for a new course. All these things should be there. Then new clinics won't require it, but once your clinic is 2 to 3 years old, at least 5% of your annual gross income should go in the regular maintenance. Change the say curtains, change the blinds, change the paint of the clinic. Small little changes which induce an element of freshness in your clinic. That will actually bring about your patients to also notice that yes, मैं जब पहले आता था ये पेपर वेट यहीं पड़ा होता था, आज भी वहीं पड़ा 3 साल बाद. Those little things, people notice those things, whether we are aware of or not. Because once we are in clinic, we are so bogged down in our clinic work, like, and we like to avoid forests in the trees. We don't know
Like
actually where.
ostriches.
Yes, like ostriches, absolutely. So we fail to realize that patients notice each and everything. हम काम कर रहे हैं, patient तो आगे इधर उधर देख रहा है ना. So they are actually searching for the changes. ये पहले भी यही था, ये पहले भी यही था. They make a mental note of that. So what are
There's
you?
no growth.
There is no growth. And remember, even if you are static, that means you are going down. So that you have to remember, because being stagnant is one of the early signs of going down in value and going down in growth part. So a little bit on yourself, little bit on clinic decor, and obviously as you grow in practice, 3 years, 4 years down the line, then investing on the gadgets for which you have patience for. Remember, this is one important aspect. You may be a periodontist, but maybe in the first 3-4 years of practice, your major income is coming from Crown and Bridge. So you should be thinking about investing in a, say, a digital scanner rather than a piezoelectric surgical unit, which might belong to your specialty, but you have not have any patient for that. But you have a lot of Crown and Bridge patients. You should think of a digital scanner first. So the ROI potential, return over investment potential, comes into the sphere for that reason, very specific
This is
reason.
what many people miss on.
Absolutely, they miss on this thing. They don't realize that we have to grow as per the patients in our practice. The basic says calculation for that comes through your record keeping. How meticulous you are in your record keeping and how you maintain them, that is the thing that will decide. Because I always encourage youngsters or even the settled ones to look out for two things or to add two columns in their records. The number one is the patient's socioeconomic background. I always say PSO.
Can you ask the patient that?
Yes, obviously you can always make a judgment also sometimes. It is not always to be asked for, but there are certain things you can ask, make a judgment. What does your husband do? You can make out what kind of income would be having. You know, well, that is the thing
This
that
is something which most of us don't do. We should
then the
start.
second thing I need always you to mention in your records is PSOR, patient source of referral. That is one very important aspect. I'll give you a very short example in that. For example, just presume you're doing a root canal in 2000 rupees. You say invested in Apex Locator and you started charging 2500 for the root canal, presuming that, but you didn't shift it to everyone in your practice. So you believe that kuch mere patients are those who are my star patients, those who trust me blindly. So I am going to invest in a start this kind of a root canal or even a rotary system or Apex Locator, just an example of that, in such patients. Because what will you market to say that इससे root canal बढ़िया होती है? The question or the point which you did not mention was, but the patient will presume that इसका मतलब इससे पहले आप घटिया करते थे. That is the thing actually. So
Understood.
if you have, say, introduced that service in 10% of your patients who are loyal patients, you believe, उनमें आपने 2000 का 2500 लेना शुरू कर दिया. If your patient comes with a from the patient source of referral, and the patient gives you a reference, he's from your trusted client who's given a reference, my doctor used to do a root canal in one particular way, now he is doing in such a way, it has become more painless, although it might not have any relation to pain, but yes, the effect is there, the
Psychological.
psychological effect is there, that yes, ab painless ho gaye. In that patient, presuming that to be a new patient, and without going into the source of referral, you do a normal root canal which you are doing at 2000 rupees, for example. The patient will say, मेरा तो यार वैसे नहीं किया आपने, जैसे आपने बोला था, मेरा तो वैसा कुछ भी नहीं यूज किया. So you not only lost out on a revenue, you dissatisfied a referral patient who could have given you more referrals. It is a networking chain. It is not only in the, say, MLM platforms, it is in our business also. So one satisfied patient can tell more than 4 to 5 patients. One dissatisfied can tell about 10 patients.
Patients.
So that is the thing we have to understand. Remember, these things are all related, but these things can only be paid attention to if you're alert and awake in your practice. If you're like सुबह से शाम तक गधे की तरह काम करना है, 20, 25, 30 की ओपीडी करनी है, then you can't really do this thing. Filtering out your patients, and trust me, the biggest, once you are starting to settle, the biggest filter is the price. If you want to filter out your patients, if you want to do quality work, want to charge more, work always on the basis of 80-20 Pareto principle. 80% of your patients will give you 20% of income only. It is those 20% patients which you might not have been paying attention to are paying you 80% of the revenue for the month. That is the thing we have to realize as a youngster. It is a holistic phenomenon, and that has to be studied in unison, not only in a short thing that ways.
So you have been teaching everyone, मतलब गुरु के भी गुरुओं को, all about the financial aspect. So you have met a lot of dentists. Now, if I'm a young dentist and I want to become successful, what will your be advice? What have you seen common among these successful dentists, which young dentists can maybe replicate and copy?
The only thing that separates, there are two principles that I always want to follow, want everyone to follow. Number one principle is you cross the plateau of your latent latent potential, which we say. And the second principle is basically the 1% rule. Let me explain you a bit. You always see success stories all around us. We all see a Olympic, say, medalist winning a gold medal, or a student topping the exam with 99.9%. But has anybody shown the journey before that? Any news channel? They will never say, हाँ ये बच्चा पढ़ रहा है, इसका 2 महीने बाद एग्जाम है, ये देखना 99% लाएगा. Nobody shows that, because this is the world of sensationalism. Any event, if you have happened and that event is glorified, that will sell, because the sensational news only sell. That is how the system works in India, or even abroad most of the time. But that arduous journey to earn that medal or to earn those marks is actually never ever glorified, which is a highly underrated thing in reporting in our the country. The problem is this only, that we actually we are not aware of the, say, results. We just want to see the results. We are not aware of the process itself, and that process understanding actually cripples most of the people. And the first principle that I want all of you to follow is the latent potential principle, which I always say. If some of you have, say, read the book by James Clear on atomic habits,
Yes.
he actually mentioned about
1%
this.
rule.
Yep, 1% rule also, and he mentioned the plateau of latent potential also in that. He said that if you actually try to melt an ice cube from 25 degrees Fahrenheit and continue till 31 degrees, the cube will not melt. But then if you increase the temperature, when the temperature reaches 32, it starts to melt. It does not mean that whatever effort you have made from 25 to 31, that goes waste. The only thing is that 32 degrees where you actually hit your latent potential, you cross that plateau, and then people call it an overnight success. So it is like
So
It
people
has a
should be
com-
willing to read, to put in the
they
hard
should,
work.
yes, they should be patient enough. They should be they should be, say, interested in the process more than the proceeding. I have written a quote on that myself a couple of years back. Sometimes people are too interested in the proceeding rather than the learning the whole process itself. So again, the second principle, you are, as you rightly mentioned, the 1% rule. We actually don't follow that principle. Even Jim Rohn mentioned once, success is nothing but more than a few simple disciplines that we practice each day. So if I have to ask you, how do you eat an elephant, the answer would be bite by bite, small by small step. You always say contribute baby steps to each other. So 1% means if you actually improve 1% each day, you will be 37 times better than what you are today. So it is not linear, it is an exponential thing, something called as a compounding effect. And compounding effects is a well-known phenomenon in finance only, but it
Seventh
comes
wonder
in,
of the world.
yes, eighth wonder of the world,
Eighth wonder of the world. Sorry.
by Einstein. But yes, surely it compounding actually takes place in every sphere of our life. Again, one of the Robert Collier uh, uh, quotes, if I remember correctly, success is the sum of small efforts that are repeated day in and day out. And you have to remember those things when you want to succeed. And never ever a success has come overnight. If I am lecturing to you, I started lecturing in 2007, started with finance in 2012. If I'm able to tell you something on these three things, remember the journey started 14 years back. So you all have to appreciate the process as well. What I must have went through in firstly acquiring those qualifications, which were non-dental, and then applying those things into my dentistry, bring about changes in myself. And then I started my online education of, say, educating dentists free of cost in August 2016. It's close to 5 years also for that. In a couple of months, it will be 5 years. So that was not my group. That was a group by someone. I started my own groups in 2018, but even those groups are now almost 3.5 years. So I'm actually doing it since many years now. It is a part of the process. So why do you want to have a success overnight? Some things will take its due course of time, and when they give you success, trust me, it is much sweeter than what you can even think of.
It is a really amazing lecture. I'm sure the young dentist would have learned a lot over the two videos you're doing.
Yeah.
Sir, where can they learn more about you?
Uh,
All this content you have, amazing content.
I do a lot of webinars. I actually, to tell you, you might be surprised. I do a lot of lectures, as I mentioned in 2017, 2007, sorry. I started commercially using them in 2017 only, properly, to earn money out of them. Before that, I was just doing it for lecture purpose. Ki chalo lecture le liya, workshop le liya. Personally, I was doing. But overall, going to idea branches, non-idea branches, private organizations, I started that in 2017 only to earn something out of it. Before that, my dad didn't allow me. He said, "Tu dentistry se kha raha hai." Even till date, my primary bread and butter comes from dentistry. 8 hours of dentistry, of course, lockdowns notwithstanding. But if I'm doing that, trust me, physically बोलना एक अलग चीज है. लेकिन something like a camera hated me, and I hated camera the most. And it was only the lockdown last year that Anand Mohta of WDA contacted me. Sir, अब lockdown लगा दिया मोदी जी ने, तो we are doing a webinar, आप करो. मैंने कहा यार मैंने कभी नहीं किया कैमरे पे, मैं तो एक सेल्फी नहीं खिंचवाता. I hate camera and the camera equally hates me back. So we
You're
are
looking
both
really
not.
nice, sir.
Thank you. It is just again the
No, I'm
process,
seriously telling.
the process that has gone into it. So my first webinar that actually happened on the camera, it was using a mobile camera. My brother actually shot it. Was on 25th March last year, 2 days after the national lockdown. So that was my first webinar, and slowly, I've done more than say there are more than 300 videos on my YouTube channel, small and large combined. So you can visit my YouTube channel, which goes by
I will
my name
post the
only.
link in our
Yes,
Instagram page, guys. Don't forget to check that out.
sure. Do subscribe to that channel because I almost post a video daily. Because
Yes.
already till July end, as we are talking in the middle of June, already till July end, the videos have been scheduled already. I don't have to do anything. They're already scheduled. They already come online by itself in the auto mode only. So don't believe that I am every day up and using those. So it is already automated process for me. So all those things started 1 year back only. So if you want to wish to read more about it, I have a lot of articles I am writing in Idea Times since the past 4.5 years now. So almost 54 parts of my column in IDA Times has been published on practice management. So all of them are available on my website. Everything of my social media presence is by my name only. Dr. Bhavdeep,
Okay.
DRBHAV. Of course, Dr.
So
Satish
you
will
could
give you
just
the
send
link.
me this so that I can
Yes,
put it on our
sure,
Instagram
sure.
page.
I'll give you. And there are articles on finance also which are there on my website. So the two sources. My website is still in the update mode. It will show you on the front end as a 2016 page. It has actually updated in 2019, but somehow some fiasco happened at the designer's end, and 2019 update was lost. It is being updated at the back end, but the front end will show you a 2016 image of mine. But yes, it will be online within the next month only itself. But yes, the old links are working. They're on the top. Idea Times and the finance articles, you can click them on them and you can find a lot of articles. But yes, ready-made recipes available for every topic on practice management, finance, and medical legal aspects on my YouTube channel. So do subscribe to the channel. You'll get a lot from
Sure,
it,
sir.
surely.
Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot for taking so much time doing 2 sessions with us. Really, thank you for it.
Thank you. Before I conclude, want to say one line. Always, again, on the process and the proceeding part, I'll always say, learn the art of keeping yourself engaged in the process. Because if you keep yourself in the process, you will reap the benefits of the compound interest, and surely success will follow. And
You're
remember
a true
the
example in front of us for that.
yes, Martin Luther King Jr. has given one wonderful quote for it. Everybody knows it, but nobody follows it, or very few actually follow it. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Remember, if you are stagnant, you are actually going down. So remember this quote if you want to really grow in life.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you. Thank you.